once I get rid of the new device driver that it keeps finding. So this is it. This is IE7. Browsing is really the heart of the user experience, I said, but I also want to call out that search is pretty key too. And with that in mind, we've actually put search as a box straight into the core UI. It's always there, always accessible. This is actually expandable as well. You can choose what search provider you want, add new search providers in there. Let's go ahead and flip to a new tab here, and I'll go ahead and do a search. And the first feature I really wanted to demonstrate was a little bit more about tab browsing. So I'm just going to control click here to open up a bunch of tabs. And as Chris demoed this morning in the keynote speech, we have this, you have the ability to, I have the ability to mess up the control panel apparently. So we have the ability to quickly switch between tabs. Just use Control Tab and I'll switch between tabs really quickly. You'll notice most of the titles are actually getting cut off because I have so many of these open. I can use a drop-down list to pick which one I'm really interested in. Or I can use this new feature called Quick Tabs that actually gives me a live preview of all of the tabs that I have open. I can actually flip to one of the tabs when I figure out which one I want. I can decide I want to close one, not view it at all. But really focusing on giving you a very easy and natural way to manage the tabs that you have open, manage the content that you're viewing. So the other feature that I talked about is we've provided a page zoom. And this is kind of hard to demo, unfortunately, because the screen is relatively low resolution. But a lot of times you will run into a web page like this, where it actually has this big white band on the right side of the screen, because it was designed for a smaller screen than this to fit onto an 800 by 600 screen typically. And I can actually control a mouse wheel on this and zoom it way up, and for some reason my image has died in this. This is why it's beta, obviously. Let's try reopening that one. All right, let's try restarting the browser. There we go. Nope. Okay, well, one of the things that I was supposed to be showing you right now, which of course, God of demos has attacked me here, is that the images, when we stretch them out, and you can sort of see this in the background image here, when we stretch images, we actually run them through an image filter. So we get a very nice, smooth, clean image stretch. It's not really blocky and pixelated. It looks really good if you zoom up. And of course, the text is being rasterized at the native resolution, so it's very sharp. Now I want to flip back to normal size here. And the next thing that we've added is a great default print experience. We really wanted to make sure that we really wanted to make sure that we showed off. Oh, that's lovely. Well, we'll just use it on MSNBC. We really wanted to make sure that when you went to print, you didn't have to mess around with it for a long time. You didn't have to go hand edit the content or anything like that to try to get it to work. But you could actually go straight into printing or print previewing. And as Chris demoed this morning also, by default, we'll actually shrink the page if it's within some certain boundaries, so it'll still look good. We'll shrink it down to make sure that it fits on a page. If I just run this through IE6, for example, I get an experience like this, where the right edge of this page is actually getting cut off. You can tell this ad's getting cut off, which I probably don't mind too much as I'm printing, but some of the content later on, like these stock prices here, are actually getting chopped, which is kind of a bad experience. Now, we also wanted to make sure that you had a lot of control over this. So I will, you can see I'm flipping through the multi-page preview here, but I have the ability to choose a different scaling factor, a custom scaling factor if I want, to make sure that it'll fit. Like if I go to 70% and I can actually get it to fit on 4 pages rather than the 6 or 5 that it was using before. So I can use this to trim things down, to sort of squeeze it in to fit if I don't quite like the way that the automatic version is working, I can do a custom setting. I can also, I will occasionally get pages that when you load them up and try to print them, you'll get a page orphan, or you get a line or two on the last page. So this page is actually getting shrunk automatically. I'll zoom that back up to normal. And you'll see that it's just barely lapping onto the second page. Now the worst part about this is frequently what laps onto the last page is the copyright statement. I actually don't want to print something that has a copyright statement and skip printing that. But if I have the automatic shrink to fit, you'll notice we're automatically detecting, hey, we could just squeeze this a little bit and fit it all onto one page. So I'm going to drop out of the print preview for a minute, and I wanted to call out again, we've really streamlined this UI. We've gotten rid of a lot of the things that normally sort of clutter up the space there. There's no file menu at all. There's no menu bar for that matter. Those things are still there if you really want them. You can hit the Alt key, you get the menu back, and for a while I was sort of still using that to transition over, but now I really like the nice clean new UI. All the things that you typically want, like the tools are right there. The printing experience is right there. So it's much cleaner, and you're really much more focused on the task of browsing. Now, the other thing that I mentioned before that we've added is subscription support. And you'll notice we've got a little RSS icon right here in the toolbar. And it's detected that this MSNBC page actually has a web feed associated with it. It has a feed of RSS. So I can click on the RSS feed. And as Chris showed, you get a nice clean view of this content, a very, very pretty view. I can also filter it to look for specific terms in that view. Or I can say, hey, I want to subscribe to this feed. I'm going to go ahead and add it into my feeds. And this takes just a second to chunk away somewhere in the depths of our engine. And I'm actually going to go and add another feed. And this feed's a little different because this is actually a photo blog feed. This has photos attached to each posting. Today, most of the feeds that are out there are either textual feeds, news feeds, or the IE blog, for example. That's pretty much all text, even rich text. Or there's a lot of podcasting out there as well. You get a lot of audio feeds. But we're really seeing that just start to evolve into photographs, into video, into other types of data. And the thing that we've really provided that's most interesting in IE7 is a subscription platform that you can build other applications on. So now that I'm looking at this blog, I'm going to go ahead and subscribe to this feed too. One of the program managers on our team actually wrote an application that looks at that photo blog and runs it as a screensaver. So we'll actually sit there and flip through any new postings on there. As new postings come in, it will update and add that to the screensaver. And really, this is all very nice. It's a great application, but the point isn't the application itself. The point is that we've built this platform, this common subscription platform that does all of the storage of feeds and the management of feeds, and allows you to build applications very easily that make use of that. So I'm going to switch back to my presentation